Hi there! Today we have a very fun video because it is all watercolor talk. Talk. Watercolor. Colors of watercolors. Today I'm going to share with you what is currently in my artist palette, but if you watch till the end of the video, I'll also tell you why I'm using mostly two palettes these days and why I think it is really good to curate your own palette. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Curate. I'm a watercolor and mixed media intuitive artist based in Austria in Europe. I would love for you to subscribe to my channel, and I would really appreciate it if you give this video a like and leave me a comment what is in your artist palette. I would love to know if, like me, you mix brands, because I think that's a must. If someone told me I had to stick to one brand, I would be very upset. So I have my Superstar palette and I will walk you through all of my choices and explain why I choose them. I'll put timestamps below. Let's get started. Now, I wanted to film me painting these, but I actually think it's more helpful to see the paints when they are fully dry. Sometimes, you know, watercolors look absolutely glorious when they are wet, and then they dry into a bit of a sadder situation. So I want you to see these are now fully dry. They're painted in the last days. And let's go through the colors that I currently have in my palette. So starting with Buff Titanium. When I started painting with watercolors, I did not like Buff Titanium at all, but I've come to really love it and enjoy it. And recently I switched my watercolor one to the Daniel Smith gouache. I'm a huge fan of the Daniel Smith gouache paints. They have really perfected, in my opinion, formulating gouache paints. And the difference is that I feel like I can get a more opaque, matte situation much more easily with the gouache version. So I have that. Then we have Schminke Naples Yellow. If you've been here, you will recognize a lot of the colors. And Naples Yellow is a color that every brand makes. I'm going to tell you throughout this swatching why I choose the brand that I choose, if it's a convenience thing or if it's a preference. Buff Titanium, if you want to use watercolors, I think they're quite comparable among brands, but I really love having the gouache version in my palette. Now, the Naples Yellow, here I'm testing, I always have in my palette some pans. Some of them live here longer and then others are just transient visitors. And this is one that I actually was sent by a lovely viewer. This is the Da Vinci Naples Yellow, and I would say this is what Naples Yellow looks like for most watercolor brands. This is the Schminke Naples Yellow, and I really love it. It's a bunch of pigments, but as you can see, it's lighter, it's more buttery, creamy, it's just beautiful. So that's my go-to. This one is lovely, but I just prefer the color of this. Then we have Daniel Smith Nickel Azo Yellow. I love this yellow for florals, for landscapes. It's really luminous and really earthy. And you can see, like, when I want something more opaque, more buttery, then I go with this. And then this one is completely transparent and beautiful. I think most brands make it, and I think it's pretty comparable. So I wouldn't say it's a must to get, you know, the Daniel Smith one. Here I have the Core Quinacridone Gold, and I think this is discontinued, but Quinacridone Gold is also a color that every brand makes. To me, again, they are pretty much comparable. I love the Core one because it just pushes away the other colors in a way that other paints mostly don't do. And I just find it to be very effective with yellow, because many times I will splatter yellow or like drop it in florals and landscapes, and this one just like pushes the other colors or it creeps into them, and it just creates the most beautiful effect. I have a whole video dedicated to what Core does to other watercolors, so I'll I will leave it here for you to see what I mean. But really, if you're using also granulating and separating colors, this does something extra. It will like sneak in there and then push some of the color, and then the granulation will stay. It just creates really magical combinations. Then we have these two colors are kind of guests in my palette, and I think I will keep this one. This is Da Vinci Gold Ochre, and this is Da Vinci Raw Sienna. You can see they're quite similar. This one is a bit more brownish, I would say. This one is like probably the only earth tone that I feel like I need to have in my palette, and I really love it. Either yellow ochre or gold ochre. Gold ochres are usually a little bit more orangey, and I love them. So this is a more recent addition. I really enjoy it. This one is nice. I just don't feel the need to use a lot of raw sienna in my work. This is Daniel Smith Lunar Earth, and you can see how granulating it is. It's like heavily granulating. I do like to mix it with other colors, especially purples and like purpley pinks. I love that combination, and I use it a lot in seascapes for sand. I just really love creating those colors. Then I have here Lucas Naples Yellow Red. This to me is quite a unique color, and I haven't really found something comparable. I love mixing it with hot pinks. It just creates the most beautiful corally shades. You can get similar results with just Naples Yellow, but I really love this color, and I use it pure, mixed. It neutralizes lavender really, really beautifully. So for my particular palette, it just works really well. This is probably one of the newest additions to my palette, and this is... Before we continue with the video, I want to tell you a couple of updates that don't say you didn't know. So if you didn't know, I have a monthly art membership. It's only €9 a month, and it will stay only €9 a month for the foreseeable future because I really want to keep it super, super affordable. We're over 100 people in there, and every month I share... It's kind of funny to say, but my favorite part about my membership is that it's not about me. There are a lot of wonderful art memberships out there, and I've been a member of several of them. But for me personally, because I like to try so many things and I have that messy brain that I jump from one thing to the next, usually what happened to me in other memberships, and for sure this is, you know, not what happens to a lot of people. Like some people really love to stay in the same style and vibe, and that's amazing. But it just usually felt to me like it was a lot like more of the same. And if that's something that you are interested in, and if you found, you know, your perfect artist and their style is exactly how you like to work and what you like to paint, that's amazing. But that's not me. So in my membership, I hop around, we gather inspiration from all over the internet and we share it. Of course, I curate the content, but also the members share. And when I mean other artists, it means we highlight every month a known artist and we use him or her as inspiration. I curate an inspiration board again with artwork from many different artists. Usually there is a theme, and of course there are bonus videos just for the members of the Joy Art Club, and we have a community. Now, till now, we now started year 2 of the Joy Art Club. Until now, the registration was open all the time, but I'm going to close it beginning of August because I'm doing a 3-month sort of focus on a theme. Pause the video, comment what theme you think I will be exploring in those 3 months, or we will be exploring, and then start the video again. Of course, it's going to be color. Of course, I'm going to explore color. because that's my favorite thing. But we're going to have like mini themes within that. So in August, we're going to explore primaries. The theme is going to be seascape and boats, and we're going to play around with that. Then in September, we're going to do again, we did that last year and everyone loved it, a bit more of a sketchbook focus, but this time it will be sort of like building a mixing color almanac and playing around with triads and all kinds of like fun color experiments. And then come October, it's going to be a Paris and French themed, and we're going to be exploring color stories from impressionists, and fauvists, my favorite movements. And since I will be in Paris in September, there's going to be, hopefully, there's going to be also content and inspiration from my trip there, which obviously will be focused around, you know, museums and art shops. So if you want to be a part of all of that, then please join us before I close registration. I will open it again probably in November, but not before that. I really want to take the time and nurture the existing community. So I really hope you will join us. One of the new Holbein granulating colors, this is the Burke's Parrot Pink, and you can see how glowy it is. It's like a hot neon pink with some orange granulation. It's a really fun color. This is how it looks in the pan. And I just been really enjoying it. So for now, it's in my palette. Moving on. Here I have Winsor & Newton Quinacridone Red. This is, again, a color that almost every brand makes. Daniel Smith calls theirs Quinacridone Coral. It's a really beautiful, warm, pinky red. I like to use it. I don't feel like this is a ride or die for me, but I do use it and enjoy it. Now we're getting into my two ride or die pinks. I have Da Vinci Opus, which you can see is super bright, and it's a bit warmer than the next one, which is Holbein Bright Rose. I love these so much. I can't imagine painting without them. Doesn't really matter what subject I'm painting. Usually I like to include some hot pink, and they just work so well with all of my more like earthy yellows, and they just create beautiful corally shades, which I love. Then we have Schmincke's Galaxy Pink. This one I'm trying out. I think it's an interesting alternative to Potter's Pink. Just a little bit different. You can see a little bit deeper. I find that Potter's Pink tend to be a bit lighter. I'm not sure about this color. I don't use it a lot, but it is a really pretty earthy pink. This is also a newer to me color. This is Aquarius Lava, and it's really beautiful. Then we have two new additions also to my palette. This one is the Holbein Cherry Blossom Pink, and this one is the Holbein Twilight Purple. I think they're both really fun, and because I paint with a lot of pink, it's just really nice to have that variety. They're obviously a little bit more muted than these guys, or a lot more muted, but they're really pretty. I just think they're really pretty colors. So if I had to choose one, I would probably choose the Twilight Purple. It's just beautiful, and you can see like the granulation. It's just lovely. Then one of my signature colors, we have Cobalt Violet. This one is the Da Vinci Cobalt Violet Deep. It's a lovely cobalt violet. My favorite of all times is the Winsor & Newton Cobalt Violet. I will say, if you are new to this color and you want to add it to your palette and you're not sure still if you like it or not, then get a pan. My advice, get the Winsor & Newton Cobalt Violet pans, small one or full-size one. Those are formulated to perfection, because Cobalt Violet is very hard to formulate, and a lot of tube paints will be just full of binder, and you will be so disappointed, and you will blame perfect Cobalt Violet. Then we have some of my darker colors that I love. This one also is relatively a recent addition. This is Aquarius Violet. And this one is the Da Vinci Artemist, which is a dupe for Daniel Smith Moonglow. And I've been using this one a lot. I still use this, but somehow this kind of have been used more. You can see it's just more intense, right? This is more muted. This one is quite intense. You can see the like purpley bluish colors, and then it has that beautiful separation where these like warm pinks almost come through. So just a super enjoyable color. And with these colors, you know, the more water you add and play with other colors, you just see the beauty of them. So I've been really loving that one, Aquarius Violet. Let's move on to blues, and I have always a convenience color lavender. I like pretty much all of the versions that I've tried. Usually it's just ultramarine mixed with white, so it's definitely a color you can mix yourself, or you can, you know, mix it in a pan and use that in your palette. You don't need to buy it. And here, right now, I have in my palette 2 French ultramarines, and they are battling it out. This one is the Vinci French Ultramarine Red shade. I love pretty much all ultramarines, but they created one that is even slightly more reddish than it usually is, and I love that. And so I wanted to try it. I have a huge tube of it. It's like 37 milliliters, I think, and it's just like fantastic value. It's a beautiful version. But I also saw people talking about the Schmincke French Ultramarine, that it is like super granulating. And all French ultramarines are granulating, but some granulate a little bit more than others. And the Schmincke one does seem to really love to granulate. So yeah, right now I have both of them in my palette, and we'll see which one is left standing. Then we have Daniel Smith Lunar Blue. This is a color I never reach for it until I feel that it's missing in my painting. So it does get some use, usually very, very small amounts. But again, it's that granulation that really attracts me, that I love about the lunar colors. Then I have indigo. Indigo is a color, I have a whole video dedicated to indigo if you want to see more of my favorites. Indigo is a color that I used to love. Then I fell out of love with it and didn't use it for years. And now it is back, and I'm back to my old flame. Schmincke's indigo, in my opinion, is one of the prettiest ones out there. It's not muted. It doesn't have black in it. It's just deep and dark and beautiful. This one is a Schmincke color that I was just testing to see. I use it very little, but it is pretty. It's Schmincke's Glacier Green. Here is Da Vinci Sea Glass. I think this is not manufactured anymore, and cameras hate turquoise. I don't know why. So what you see on screen is not the real color. The real color is a bit more greenish and more luminous. It's very similar to any kind of phthalo turquoise. So yeah, I love dropping it in my seascapes in particular, just like a touch of that deep turquoise for water. Then I have here Lucas Cobalt Turquoise. Some companies call it Cobalt Teal. I think Daniel Smith calls theirs Cobalt Teal Blue. I love it. The Lucas one it's a German brand, so it's local, relatively local to me. I'm in Austria. And it is very, very affordable. I can buy huge tubes. I actually don't use a ton of it, but a little bit of it I always love in my paintings. Another newer color is Holbein Wonder Forest Green. It looks in the pan like this, and it's just a really pretty mint color. I used to love the Sennelier Emerald Green. I still love it. And this one is very similar, but this one has some separation and granulation. So this one wins. Then we have Daniel Smith Cascade Green. I love this color for seascapes, and I love it for landscapes. It just has a lot of interesting things happening without you having to actually do anything. It has the separation like the turquoise, it has the granulation. So it's doing all the things for us. And then the few last greens and neutrals. So these are my current favorite greens that I love. They're all by Daniel Smith. This one is undersea green, this one is olive green, and this one is zoazite genuine. And I love them all, and they mix beautifully with all of my other colors, with my yellows. I use them, I paint a lot of florals, I paint a lot of seascapes with trees, I paint a lot of landscapes, so I can use them in all of those. Then we have Schmincke Tundra Violet. You can see, I don't know how much of a violet it is. To me it feels more like blue with some brown granulation. I like this color. I probably still prefer using this one, but this is also definitely a beautiful option. Then I have this color in my palette. I think this is Daniel Smith Hematite, which means that I don't use it a lot, so I could probably bump it for another color. And then another quite unique color that I have is the Aquarius Urban Gray. It looks like this. It almost looks like pencil lead to me. And it's just lovely. It's an interesting gray. It is opaque, so you have to be careful with it and not be too heavy-handed, but look how beautiful it is. It's just, I usually love to mix my own neutrals, but this one is just lovely, and I love adding it to skies mostly. Get a little bit of grayness in there, and it just still feels interesting and lively to me. I hope you enjoyed that, and now for my dirty little secret, that despite having all of these colors, I find myself also reaching most days for this palette, and I really would like to find a solution to combining these, but I'll tell you the issue. So the reason that I usually bring this palette is because it is super light and convenient to grab, and it houses a combination of watercolor and gouache. Now, all the watercolors that I like to use I have here, so I don't really need them here. But the gouache that I reach for, I have a few colors here that I really enjoy. So first of all, here I have white gouache that is just a little bit more workable than this one here. This is quite old and crumbly. And I have a really bright yellow that is more like of a primary yellow, which I don't have in my watercolor palette, but this is gouache. And I have ultramarine that is also gouache, and I have here like a few other more like opaque colors that are gouache. And also a really vibrant pink, if you can believe it. It's even more vibrant than these guys. And I just love having that intensity. I will usually use these in the final stages of my paintings. Sometimes I paint just with gouache, but most of the time I like to start with watercolor and then I come in with gouache. Now, obviously I could pour some of these paints here, but what I like about this palette is actually that it's very shallow, which is, you know, ideal for a travel palette, but I just find it works really well with gouache because every time I use it, the gouache gets a little bit humidity or like moisture, and as you can see it cracked a little bit, but nothing here. Like all of these are gouache, like these ones, these, they never flake and fall out, which is what happens to me when I put them in, you know, such like big wells. So that's my dirty little secret. One last thing, let's talk about curating your own palette. This is something I feel really strongly about. A lot of people start with basic primary sets, which is a great starting point, but eventually you want your art to feel more like you, and color is one of the fastest, most powerful ways to do that. I get messages all the time from people saying they recognize my work before they even saw my name, and I truly believe that has so much to do with my color choices. Having a carefully curated palette means I have a set of signature colors that I turn to again and again. And even though I still mix a lot, those foundational colors give my work a voice that is recognizable and cohesive. So if you want your work to stand out, if you want it to look like you and not like everyone else's, curating your own palette with intention and joy is such a powerful step. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a wonderful weekend.